Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to TradeStation. Let's do a quick sound check and see if everybody can hear me okay. Am I too loud or too soft? Is it too scratchy or poppy? How's it sound? Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Well, as I said, welcome to TradeStation. I was just looking at the IP map, which tells me where all of you are. It's kind of creepy, I know, but I know where all of you are. And we have all 5 continents represented here, North and South America, Africa, Asia, Europe. We have people in India. We have people from Australia. We have people in the middle of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us today. I know that that many of you are in other time zones that are either early in the morning or late at night, and so I want to thank you for tuning in at that weird hour. So thank you very much for that. This is a relatively new TradeStation platform series, The Art of TradeStation. This is a little bit faster paced event than some of our other events that you may have attended, which are typically 60 minutes. And here we're going to be looking at some of the unique and powerful features inside of the TradeStation platform. And today we're going to explore the incredible real-time scanning features of RadarScreen. And we'll get to that here in just a moment. Please keep in mind that the following presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstration purposes and are not recommendations. Active trading is not suitable for everybody. Please take a look at the disclosure document that I'm going to push into the chat, and you can find additional disclosure information on the TradeStation website. So today I'm joined by my colleague Jesus Nava, who's the Director of Client Education here at TradeStation. And because this is a faster paced event, so I'm going to ask you to kind of hold all questions to the end. If you have a question that is a little bit off topic, you can put that into the chat, and Jesus will try to answer any questions that I don't get to during the presentation. But Jesus and I will also put our emails into the chat before the end of this presentation so that you can ask us any questions that we might have missed or you didn't want to ask in the chat. So whatever happens, we'll make sure that all of your questions get answered either in the event today or in an email question. So we'll pass out those emails here in just a moment. One of the things I wanted to highlight before we get started here is VideoStation. So VideoStation is an educational video viewer. It's a trading app that lives inside of the TradeStation platform. So if you go to the little trading apps selector inside of the platform, near the bottom, you're going to see an icon now that says VideoStation. And VideoStation is your portal into all of the educational videos that we do here at TradeStation. So it makes it very easy to find a video that you might have missed. You can search by topic or by speaker, and you can even register for upcoming events, all right inside the TradeStation platform with VideoStation. So if you haven't discovered VideoStation, take a look at it the next time you log into TradeStation. And for example, every event we do is recorded and archived, and you can access that right here in VideoStation. So this event will be archived in a day or two, and you'll be able to view this the archive of this event inside of VideoStation. You can also always watch videos either on our TradeStation website. These videos are also archived there and on YouTube as well. So wherever you are, you can, our videos are every place. So it doesn't make it too hard to find the video that you're looking for. Okay, so we covered questions and I introduced Jesus, so let's get started. So today's session, we're going to look at RadarScreen. RadarScreen is TradeStation's real-time historical indicator scanner. And when I say that, sometimes people say, oh, I know what a scanner is. But RadarScreen is incredibly unique, and RadarScreen is unique to TradeStation. Nowhere in the world does a real-time scanner give you the ability to scan on the same technical historical indicators that you might be looking at in a chart on any bar interval using any amount of historical data. And what ties that all together is Easy Language. Easy Language allows you to create very unique scans where you can combine ideas and rules and scan up to 1,000 symbols in real time for unique trading opportunities. RadarScreen is a premium platform add-on. It doesn't come free with TradeStation. You have to subscribe to it in the Client Center. It's $59 per month unless you are meeting the minimum trading thresholds, and then it's free. So it's very easy. If you're already getting the platform for free, then you're getting RadarScreen for free. So if you are meeting those thresholds, you can subscribe to RadarScreen and it'll be free. And those thresholds are very easy to meet. It's 10 round turn futures trades, or 50 option contracts, or 5,000 shares traded in a month, or if you just have a $100,000 account balance. One of those things will allow you to get the platform for free and also RadarScreen for free. So our agenda today is to look at the setup of the RadarScreen window. We'll look at how we can scan for unique opportunities by sorting on alerts, which is a very unique feature within inside the RadarScreen window. And then we'll look at some cool RadarScreen setups that I use every day, and I'll share those with you as well. I'll share those with you. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 1 second here. And everyone should be, everybody should see my, everyone should see my TradeStation desktop. Can everybody see that okay? Excellent. So to access RadarScreen, we're going to click on the Trading App selector here on the left-hand side of the platform. By the way, here is VideoStation. So this is what VideoStation looks like. This is a new trading app that showed up in your platform a couple of weeks ago. And here I'm going to click on RadarScreen. Now, if you're not subscribed to RadarScreen, it'll say Quotes here. And Quotes is the free watch list quote window that comes with TradeStation. So all right, so hold on 1 second. So I have a setting that I need to change here it'll just take me a second to change that setting. There we go. So let's try this again. I'm going to click on Trading Apps. Can everybody see the app selector now? Perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. So here's the VideoStation icon that I mentioned before. This appeared in the platform about 2 weeks ago, and this is how you can access all of the videos that we produce here at TradeStation. So here I'm going to click on the RadarScreen icon, and as I said, if you don't have RadarScreen, it'll say Quotes here, and Quotes is your quote window, and it allows you to apply dozens and dozens of real-time quote fields, but the difference between Quotes and RadarScreen is that RadarScreen does the technical, historical, real-time scanning that makes it so powerful. Quotes does not have that feature, so that's the difference. And what you're paying $59 a month for is the ability to scan on historical technical indicators, which is incredibly unique. And so that's the difference between RadarScreen and Quotes. If you want to subscribe to RadarScreen, you can go to the Client Center and you can turn this feature on, and you'll have it the same day. So here's RadarScreen. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about inserting symbols into the window. So RadarScreen allows you to have 1,000 historical connections to the TradeStation data network for real-time scanning. And so you can actually apply up to 1,000 symbols and sort and rank on trading opportunities on 1,000 symbols in real time. That 1,000 symbols is across all RadarScreen windows. So if you have 2 RadarScreen windows, you can have 500 in each window, or 800 in one and 200 in the other, but you can never have more than 1,000 historical connections to the TradeStation network. And we can add symbols into the window just by typing them in. So if I type in MSFT and hit enter, that gives me a quote and some default columns, some data points here that we can use. Notice that what's unique to RadarScreen is this interval column. That's what really makes this special, because this isn't just a quote row like most quote windows. What this is a chart. Basically, this row has the access to all of the same data and all of the same calculation power that a chart has. So any indicator that I would normally put into a chart, like MACD or Stochastic or a moving average or a chart pattern, anything that I would normally be looking at in a chart on one symbol, I can now look in that RadarScreen on 1,000 symbols. So each row is a chart, which means I can have 1,000 connections. I can have 1,000 charts running in real time, all in one window. Just an incredible amount of scanning power there, all in this window. Built into TradeStation, RadarScreen are, and basically the symbol lists are used in a number of different places, but I can also very quickly add a symbol list to RadarScreen by going to Insert, Symbol List. Here there are dozens of symbol lists that are built into TradeStation. You can even create your own custom symbol lists by highlighting symbols and creating that list. All of the Reuters industry group symbol lists are here. But typically what we want to look at are index components, things like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. So here I'm going to select the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's 31 symbols. I can quickly click OK and add that into the window. And now I have all of the symbols in the Dow Jones all calculating on 5-minute intervals. So it makes it very easy for me to get symbols into the window and to create some very powerful scans very, very quickly. Notice that when I inserted the symbol list that it created a row. This is called a label row. And you can add a label row anywhere you need to highlight a list of symbols. So if you create your own symbols within the window, you may want to give that a label row to identify what that symbol list represents. So to do that, you can simply right-click in the symbol column and say Insert Label Row. And here I can give that my own name. And now I have a label row. So just a way of organizing the symbols within the window. By pressing Delete, I can delete a symbol or a row very easily from the keyboard. So as I said, each row here in RadarScreen is a chart. And since it's a chart, we have the ability to change the bar interval. And we can change the bar interval in a number of creative ways. First of all, we can change all the bar intervals all at once, simply by right-clicking on the column heading, which highlights all the symbols. And then I can say Format All Symbols. This brings up a dialog that's very similar to the Format Symbol dialog in a chart. And so here, instead of this being a 5-minute row for every symbol, I can say daily and click OK. And now I have 31 daily charts. So the next time I insert a different column or an indicator into the window, that indicator is going to be calculating on a daily basis. Now sometimes people want to calculate on different intervals. So here I can add Apple a couple of different times. And one row of Apple can be daily. And if I double click on the symbol column, now notice that here I'm double clicking on the symbol column, not on the interval column. The interval column is just an informational column. It doesn't actually control the interval. It just reports what the interval is. So to control the interval, I have to click on the symbol column. And in this case, I'm going to double click just on one symbol row, which is this one here for Apple, and I'm going to make that weekly. And I'm going to click on it again, run the next one down, and make that monthly. So now I have Apple at 3 different intervals, daily, weekly, and monthly. So if I insert the stochastic indicator, the stochastic indicator is going to report what that value is on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or a monthly basis. So very easy to do that. There's 2 types of columns in RadarScreen. There's what are called quote columns. Quote columns are columns that are just daily real-time values. They have no historical data associated with them. So things like last net change, current bid and ask, high and low for the day, volume for the day, those are all snapshot quote fields, and they don't use any historical data. But built into RadarScreen is the entire universe of charting indicators. So if I go to Insert Indicator, here on the right-hand side you can see all the columns that are currently in RadarScreen. And I can sort, and on the left-hand side I can see all the indicators that I can insert into the RadarScreen window. Now there are a couple of limitations here, and if you are creating your own custom RadarScreen indicators, there's a couple of limitations to the type of indicators that can be used in RadarScreen. For the most part, 90% of all indicators that work in charting are going to work in RadarScreen without any modification. But there are some indicators in charting that won't work in RadarScreen without some modification. Things that use multi-data analysis, for example, do not drop into RadarScreen without some modification. So just keep that in mind. If it doesn't work, it may need some modification. But for the most part, everything is going to work right out of the box. So for example here, I'm going to use momentum. This is the standard momentum indicator that comes with TradeStation. I'm going to click Add. I'm going to add that in. Notice that there's a checkbox over here on the right-hand side for history. Once I add the indicator from the available into the selected, I can also adjust it where it is within the list of columns. So I can move it anywhere in the display using the up and down arrow keys here. I can also click the Format button and change the input for momentum if I need to do that as well. I can also do that once the column is in the window. So here I'm going to click OK. And there we can see the momentum indicator, and it's calculating the momentum for the daily value for each of these symbols. Notice that there's a 0 line column here. That's because the charting indicator has a 0 line because it's more of a visual display in the chart, and we want to draw a 0 line in the charting indicator so we can see when momentum is crossing above or below 0. But in RadarScreen we don't need that. It's redundant. So whenever you have a column like that you don't want to display, you can simply right-click on the column heading, and you can say Show Hide Plots, and we can hide the 0 line. And now we're just displaying the momentum. Notice that the momentum column is highlighted in blue, which tells us that it's a historical column. And now I can very quickly sort all of the symbols in RadarScreen by momentum to see which ones have the highest or lowest momentum. Now this is kind of just an example, not really a good analytical example, because the momentum value is really dependent on the price of the stock. So a high momentum is going to be higher on a higher stock. But for this point, I just want to show you the sorting feature. We'll get into some interesting analytics around this here in just a second. So if I double click on momentum, notice how it sorts them by that momentum value from high to low. I have a blank row here, and one of the really powerful features of the sorting and ranking in RadarScreen is a concept called blank row group sorting, which means that if I have a blank row in RadarScreen, when I sort, it sorts between the blank lines. So notice that the first 4 symbols up here are sorted, and then it starts the sort again here after the blank line. This allows you to group symbols within the same view on the same page without having to worry when you sort it that those blank lines are going to get grouped together like they do in Excel sometimes. So here the blank row is a barrier and allows you to sort within those blank row groups. Very cool feature. So sorting is simply a matter of double-clicking on the column heading. So for example, if I want to know which stocks have the best net change today, I can just double click on the column heading, and it sorts it for me. Same thing with volume. Which stocks have the highest volume today or the lowest volume? Makes it very easy. One of the very powerful features of RadarScreen sorting and ranking is the ability to sort on an alert. This is really what we want to do in RadarScreen, right? We want to have a rule that says when this indicator is crossing above 0 or crossing below 0 or reaching this threshold, I want to be alerted. And when you have a lot of symbols in the window, you could have a lot of alerts, but you don't want to have to scroll down and find out which symbols are alerting. You want those alerts to flow to the top, so you can focus at the top of the window and see which symbols are alerting. So this is how it works. I'm going to right-click on the column heading here for momentum. And I'm going to say Format Momentum for all symbols. This allows me to set the alert for all symbols with one dialog. So here, I'm going to enable the alert for RadarScreen. In RadarScreen, when we enable the alert, we want the alert to alert continuously, but we don't want to have any beeps or boxes popping up. So I'm going to say none for message center notifications. So in RadarScreen, these are the correct settings: enable alert, alert continuously, and no message center notifications. That's because RadarScreen manages the alert visually. If I click OK, you'll notice that now in RadarScreen we have a little blue triangle, kind of hard to see, but there's a little blue triangle right there in the upper right hand corner, and some of the columns have a yellow bar next to it. That yellow bar is telling me that there's an alert for this particular indicator on the current bar. So what we can do is we can say, show me all the alerts, bring them to the top of the window. And to do that, we're going to go to Format. In Format Sort, I can select up to 4 sort keys and have it sort dynamically every n number of seconds. In this case, I want to sort by alert. And this is the unique feature that I was telling you about. The ability to sort on an alert being true. So inside of the RadarScreen engine, the calculation for the indicator is identifying an alert criteria just like it would in charting. But in this case, when the alert goes off, RadarScreen can intercept that and sort based on whether that alert is true or false. So I'm going to select Momentum Alert, and I'm going to click OK. And when I do that, it brings all of the alert criteria for that symbol to the top of the window. Hold on a second. Let me go back to Format Sort. Make sure that you have the arrow pointing up for true false. There we go. And notice that it's kind of hard to see because the colors in these columns are also yellow. Take a look at this red cell here. The red cell here you see has a yellow bar on the right-hand side. That tells me that the alert has been triggered for this bar. And you can see all of these are the alerts. So out of all of the symbols in the Dow Jones on a daily chart, you have a lot of symbols here giving us opportunities in momentum. So we don't know whether that momentum is crossing above or below. We'd have to look at a chart for that. So, but that's the idea. RadarScreen gives us the ability to sort based on that alert criteria. This is the way that the built-in indicators work within inside the TradeStation platform. So what I want to do now is I want to give you I want to give you a look at some of the ways that I use RadarScreen, and I'll share my workspaces and my indicators with you so that you can start experimenting and get some ideas on how you might want to use this with the indicators and the chart patterns that you look at. So the first one I'm going to show you is a workspace that uses Stochastic, and it uses MACD. And if you look at the chart here, this is a great example of how RadarScreen works. So this is a chart of Apple. This is a daily chart of Apple. and I have the MACD indicator in here, and I have the stochastic indicator in here, and we can see what that looks like visually, right? In RadarScreen, what you're looking at, oops, let's go back. In RadarScreen, what you're looking at is only what the value is of these indicators on the last bar. So RadarScreen is a real-time scanner, and it's showing you what the MACD and stochastic values are on the last bar in the chart. That's what RadarScreen is showing you. It has the historical data necessary to calculate MACD and stochastic, but it's only reporting what's happening on that last bar. So here in RadarScreen, what I've done is I've taken that concept of MACD and stochastic, and I've made it easier for me to see what's going on with them by adding some columns that report whether the indicator is in a bullish mode or a bearish mode. So here with MACD and stochastic, I can very easily see what the mode of that indicator is for all the symbols in the Dow. So I can see bullish or bearish based on whether MACD is above or below 0. I can see the MACD value, and I can see how many bars ago the MACD crossed above or below 0. And these windows are linked together, so if I see an opportunity here, let's look at Apple. I can click on Apple and I can see, okay, yes, that crossed 3 bars ago. It's in a bearish mode right now, and I kind of I can get a feel for that. I also have a column here in MACD that tells me if we're getting a cross on the current bar, and in here it's telling me I have a new bullish trade. So I can click on that symbol, and I can see, yes, MACD here is, if you look to the right, you can see MACD is crossing above 0 on the current bar. This is the power of RadarScreen, the ability to scan hundreds of symbols for these kinds of criteria and then look at the chart and see if that's a trading opportunity. How else would you know that that symbol is crossing above 0? That's the question, because how many charts can you really have up at one time, or how many charts can you manually scan through? RadarScreen gives you the ability to say, look, show me MACD on these 500 symbols and tell me which ones are crossing above or below 0 right now. That is incredibly unique in the world of trading and market analysis, the ability to do that kind of real-time historical scanning. And that is a really powerful tool to have as a trader. I did the same thing here with Stochastic. So with Stochastic, I can double-click on the alert column, and that sorts all of the opportunities right to the top. So I can see there's a number of new bullish opportunities in Stochastic today. So I can pick one. Let's look at Intel. So here I can look at Stochastic, and there's the Intel cross. The slow K is crossing above the slow D there, and so there's my trading opportunity. I can look at that and say, is that a trade I want to look at? You look at the big picture, right? You still have to look at the chart and see if that's a true opportunity. Maybe that's a cross that also occurred just a few bars ago. So maybe this is a second cross. Maybe that's one I don't want to take, or maybe I think the market's still moving sideways. There's still additional analysis that I need to do here, but at least it shows me the opportunity. And here, so again, big picture ideas, right? We're looking at MACD and Stochastic on a daily chart, but maybe you want to look at this on a 15-minute chart. Or maybe you want to look at a different indicator. You want to look at RSI, or you want to look at Bollinger Bands. The idea here is that you now have a tool that lets you identify some rules, specify some rules, and identify opportunities that nobody else can see. So I'll share this workspace and these two custom indicators for RadarScreen. So it's a custom indicator for MACD and Stochastic. Those don't come with RadarScreen. I mean, they come with TradeStation, but these are the indicators that you would put into RadarScreen. They do not provide this additional commentary, which is available in these two custom indicators. So I'll share that with you here. In fact, let me put that into the chat right now. So here I'm going to push a zip file into the chat. And there it is. So that zip file has the 3 workspaces I'm showing you right now. If you have any trouble downloading that zip file, just send Jesus or myself an email, and we'll attach that zip file and get it off to you. Some people have trouble downloading it from the event here. So this should be giving you a lot of interesting ideas, things to think about If you're doing most of your analysis in a chart, imagine now if you can do that same analysis on hundreds of symbols at the same time, looking for opportunities across multiple intervals, and it's just really an amazing tool. And this is just one way of looking at RadarScreen. Another way that I use RadarScreen is a tool that I call sector ranking. This is a relative strength tool that I use to kind of see what symbols are outperforming a benchmark symbol. So you might want to use this with different sectors. You might look at this with futures or currencies. I have a number of different symbolists here, and you can add additional symbolists. You'll notice at the bottom of this radar screen there's some tabs. And each of these tabs is a list or a watch list of symbols, and I can name those tabs. So one radar screen window can have multiple watch lists. And each of those watch lists represent a different group. I have mutual funds in here, industry symbols. I have oil and gas and gold and silver stocks. I have bonds and bond ETFs, currencies, different futures. So this is also a great workspace for a lot of different symbol lists. So if you just want a workspace that has lots of cool symbol lists, this is a great one to download. So this is an indicator that is built into RadarScreen that looks at the performance of each of the symbols in the window at different time frames. So here I can look at the performance of all of these symbols, say for the last 4 weeks. So if I double click on the column heading for 4 weeks, I can see which symbols in that list. These are major market futures and ETFs. So I can see which of these has performed the best in the last 4 weeks. So here I can see biotech has performed the best in the last 4 weeks, and I can see that transportations has performed the worst over those four weeks. Notice in the middle here I have a gold row, which is my benchmark, and I'm using the S&P 500 as the benchmark. This way I can see which symbols in this list are outperforming the S&P over that time period and which ones are underperforming. The way that you set up that benchmark is with an input. So if I right-click on the column heading, I can change that benchmark to any symbol just by changing the input here. So the benchmark is just an input symbol that I can add at any time. One other cool feature of this indicator is the two columns that you see on the right, the return and the weeks ago. And basically what I did here is I wanted a way to backtest this idea. So if I were to trade the best symbol that was at the top of the list on the 4 weeks, what would happen 4 weeks from now if I traded that best symbol, or what happens 2 weeks from now? So what I did is I gave you the ability to backtest this idea by putting in an input 4 weeks ago. So here I can set this to 2. And what that does is it tells me what this window looked like 2 weeks ago. So basically this is like going back in time. So 2 weeks ago this window would have looked like this. And now I can sort again by the 4 weeks. I can say, okay, here's the best symbol. Here's the best symbol against all of the other symbols 2 weeks ago. And I can see how that symbol performed over the 2 weeks since then. So that's what the return column does. The return column says, okay, that symbol was up 0.22%, so not great. You can see that the symbols that performed the least, the biotech here, because the biotech's had a great run the last 2 weeks, so this is kind of unfair, but biotech was not doing so well 2 weeks ago, and it performed the best the 2 weeks out. So again, this is just a different way, a unique way of using RadarScreen to manipulate the data into a scan for relative strength. And these are the kinds of things that, again, this is to give you an idea of how you can, use these tools and build analysis for, for the way that you trade. One other quick one, I know I'm running a little bit over here, so just one more workspace that I want to show you, and that is my Ichimoku candlestick scan. I love the Ichimoku indicator and I love candlestick patterns. And so basically I have an indicator obviously for charting that shows me the Ichimoku indicator that comes with TradeStation. And I'm also including a candlestick indicator that I wrote many years ago that shows all of the candlestick patterns on the chart. So basically you insert one indicator and it identifies every candlestick pattern historically. So it's a great way to see, what patterns are, what the results of certain patterns were historically. It makes a very nice display, and it also helps you learn what candlestick patterns are. So it's a great tool for that. So converting that into RadarScreen, I created two indicators. I created an Ichimoku Cloud RadarScreen indicator, which tells me the mode of the Ichimoku. There's basically two signals within Ichimoku. There's the TK cross signal that can either be bullish or bearish, or there's a cloud signal where the price is in relationship to the cloud. So if the price is above the cloud, that's bullish. If the price is below the cloud, that's bearish. If it's crossing, there could be some new trading opportunities there. So here, when I double click on alert, I can see if there are any trading opportunities in Ichimoku. So you can see there's a number of bullish or bearish opportunities here. Let's click on Intel here and see what that is telling us. So here, that's a new bullish indicator. You can see that it closed above the cloud today. So that's indicating a bullish Ichimoku pattern. I think there was a bearish one here. Let's see here. So here we have AEP, and we can see that in this case we're getting the TK signal is crossing below. So the yellow line is crossing below the purple line there. So that's a bearish signal. So as I said, there's two types of signals. There's the TK signal, which is the yellow line, and the purple line crossing, or whether the price is above or below. So in this case, we have a conflict, right? So the cloud is bullish, but the new pattern is bearish. So that might be something you want to wait on, or maybe you're getting in early there. Same thing with the candlestick pattern. This is one of my favorite scans in RadarScreen. Here I can double click on the candlestick pattern in RadarScreen, and I can see every symbol that has a current candlestick pattern on the current bar. So for example, here McDonald's has an evening star pattern. So I can click on McDonald's, and we can see that evening star pattern right there. So if I'm looking for evening star patterns, I think that's a good pattern for a reversal in the market, then I can scan for that, and when I see those, that might be a trading opportunity. So the idea here is that these are a number of different ways that traders can use RadarScreen, and every trader is different. So the indicators that you look at are going to be different, and the way that you want to use RadarScreen is going to be very different. And I use RadarScreen in several different ways. I use it for scanning. I use it for ranking. I do a lot of research in RadarScreen. And if you know a little bit about easy language, it just enhances the power of the window, because you can go into an indicator and you can modify it a little bit for your rule, and it just makes the window just an incredibly powerful tool for finding trading opportunities that other traders really just can't see. So coming up in the next session of the Art of TradeStation, our TradeStation mobile team is going to go through all of the new and advanced features of the TradeStation mobile platform. We have just an incredible mobile platform. So when you're on the road, you can track your positions, you can place orders, you can monitor the market. I probably open it a couple of times a day right now to track positions and to just see where the market is. So if you haven't downloaded our mobile app, it is really a great technology and very highly rated in both Android and Apple. So definitely take advantage. It's free, and you can use the same login that you're using now to log into the mobile platform. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, Jesus will also be teaching a Art of TradeStation in a couple of weeks on OSO, OCO bracket orders. So he is the master of creating OCO/OSO brackets. So if you want to learn how to create complex orders so that with one click you can place your entry and your exits, that is a session not to miss. So definitely take some time and register for both our Go Mobile and our OSO/OCO orders event. So let me put in my email address. And please feel free to send me an email for any questions that Jesus or I may not have gotten to. RadarScreen, as I said, is just an incredibly unique tool. And if you just do a little bit of trading with us, it's free with the platform. And I think it will really change the way you look at markets and the way that you change. It'll really change the way that you find trading opportunities. This will be archived within a day or two, and I'm still struggling, as you can tell, with the timing of these events. And I know that some of you are saying that this isn't enough time. We should have maybe spent more time. I'm starting to think that that is in fact the case. That maybe these should be 45-minute events instead of 30-minute events. So we will be considering that. And one of the things that a lot of people complained about in the past, that an hour was sometimes too long, and so now maybe 30 minutes is not enough. So we're working on this, and we will get it right at some point here. So but anyway, I appreciate everyone tuning in and being patient with us as we're working out the kinks on this event. And you have my email, you have Jesus's email, and we thank you for attending. And I want to thank you for all the support that you give us here at TradeStation, and good luck in your trading. Sign up for those other events. By the way, there is a great Larry Williams event tomorrow. Larry Williams is going to be talking about the futures markets. So if you've not registered for that event, go register for that right now. And next week, Dan Gramza will be talking about the agricultural market. So that's a very unique trading market, and it takes a little nuance to trade that market. So Dan Gramza will explain how that market works. So don't miss that one either. Good night, everybody. Thank you for attending, and we will see you at an upcoming TradeStation event. Good luck in your trading. Thanks, everybody.